Martin!
Well, hello, I'm Martin. Thanks for being with me. Do you ever wonder where ideas come from? Or where your imagination comes from? Or how about memories? The fact that certain memories mean a lot to us and are retained for a long period of time. Do you ever wonder about the link between imagination and ideas and memory? I know I do. I'm often amazed at how so many of my own creative ideas come about from memories. Blessed and praised every moment. I say that prayer almost every morning, and that prayer to me symbolizes the value of every single moment. Every moment has the capacity, the ability to be something really special in life. So come on along as we explore how imagination, memory, and ideas can become something beautiful and new in life. Every one of your ideas, your memories, and your own imagination can create something new and wonderful in life. So memory can be a powerful tool for the imagination. This is a memory, a painting of a memory of when I was a 4-year-old child, waking up early Easter morning, being the first one up in the front room, and seeing on the wall, projecting through the window, the sunlight of the morning coming through, creating different shades of white, gold, and yellow. And here's the painting a little closer, where you observe the brush strokes, the different coloration, choice of oil paints, the thick brush lines. Really turned out beautiful and became something of its own. I'll show you how I did this also. This is actually on a panel, a piece of wood. Hello again. So I've got my example of a board, wood panel, about a 1/2-inch plywood that I can cut down. So I'm going to grab my tool here and my tape measure. And I'm going to see approximately the size. So I went ahead and clamped it to my table here. I'm going to actually cut it by hand. So nothing like building a little muscle and using a hand tool. Alright, so I'm just about through my board here. To the end. There we go. So a perfect little panel of wood that I can now prime, getting ready for the next step. So now I'm just looking at these rough edges, have a little sanding block, do a little sanding of the edges. And I would say this is looking very fine. Okay, now that we've done the hard part of the cutting and sanding, now it's more of the fun part of the actual priming of the board, which is just household primer. Priming in one direction, allowing it to dry, and then coming across with another coat in the opposite direction once it's dried. Nice smooth surface. I use these little paint cans to kind of prop it up and to be able to get the edges too. And there we have our nice smooth surface, ready to dry for the night and ready to prep for our painting. So today I'm going to walk through with you a creation of a similar painting of, again, a memory. And it's a particularly happy memory. It's a memory of a time spent with my brothers. There was a time when we were exploring in our hometown at the time along a small river, and a stray dog, a black dog, that ended up being quite friendly, came and met us. So I'm going to use that memory, and I'm going to walk you through how I come up with, although a very vague memory in terms of its imagery for me now, how I know it can make a wonderful painting. So I'll share with you this book, and this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with sketching that idea, that this particular scene from that memory, and transmit that onto the board. So as I mentioned, the process of sketching in a sketchbook is a really important one. I'm going to come to a blank page, and then I'm going to try and generate something from that memory of mine. I'm going to start with a few little vignettes. And I have a number of images. One that I keep on coming back to, of course, is the dog. I'm thinking this painting will really be about the sky and the horizon line. Any of these sketches, and notice that the art itself is going to be very loose. It's just my style of doing things when it comes to painting. Sometimes I like to be very precise. Other times I like to be suggestive, animated, and allow the work to communicate on different levels to different people in different ways. So let's look a little more closer at the sketches I produced so you get a sense of the line work and what I was seeing. So here's the first concept. Here's the second with the object off to the left. The object in the field of view and the subject matter of my painting. And then finally the last sketch that I decided, okay, I'm going to work towards something like this in my art, in my final painting. I'm going to do an oil painting today. And here is a sample of all the oils that I use. I tend to keep to just the primary colors, and I mix my colors. I always have a burnt sienna, though, incorporated in that. And then a crimson or red, a blue, and a yellow. A couple of yellows. Always need a big tube of white. With that, you can pretty much create an entire palette. For this morning's painting, I decided to use oil colors, oil paints. And oil paints generally have a medium of some sort. So I use a little bit. I like keeping the brush strokes very bold and the paint therefore thick. But just wanted to share with you, this is a little bit of linseed oil. Utilizing my sketch as a memory, I'm going to start with, I have my palette of color here, my white, my crimson, my burnt umber, my Titian yellow, I think it is, Naples yellow, and my blue. And I know I want to keep this painting bright. I want to keep this painting alive with the memory of early morning color, whether it would be fall or the spring, I can't recall, but that's okay. So I want to start with a very light line of the horizon. And I like that a lot. Here I just don't want to touch what comes out. I don't want to make it. I have an intention in my mind of what I intended to do, but then these other things happen that allow it to be its own work, and as I allow it to stay faithful to that. I see a need for a dark, strong line here. I want to the various colors that serve as a backdrop for it. Now I have to decide where to go with this painting. Need this dark color somehow. Bring it back. The object of the painting, the dog, off in the distance. I'm going to make the series of trees that I mentioned in my sketch. Okay, this is working really well for me. I like these variances I'm seeing. And notice how it's really evolving as its own subject. A lot of this, I can't predict, and it's just the way I paint. So I want to bring this back into what I would call a more personalized space. Right now it's a little monolithic. I'm going to follow these little what you could call perspective lines, in a sense. Maybe I want to give a little brush texture here to this foreground, indicating more of a natural, the feeling of when you look at a field of grass, and how add a little yellow to that to give it how it's unkept, it's untidy, it's got its own order. And so the paint on this, keep on putting more and more texture to that horizon. I'm going to keep this symbolizing the fence line. But I don't want to lose a lot of the originality that came about. And when I say originality, I really mean of the painting itself, not of my hand, but again, this kind of sense of the painting communicating back to you. When I like this, so I'm going to utilize this. Come along here, without disturbing the painting. And you have to avoid getting too much of a mixture of, oh yes, I like that a lot. What I like about that is the two warm colors up against each other. So I'm going to add this right below our black dog to highlight the subject. I'm also going to make the subject smaller. So in order not to mix too much that paint, I'm going to subtract some of this. See if I can do this. I can. I kind of like what I'm accomplishing here. Now I'm going to go back to this and highlight this little guy where the sky and the ground sort of meet. And add again some contrast to this red I'm seeing. And now I'm seeing lots of textures that I really enjoy. And I'm getting to that point where I don't really want to touch the painting much more. It's just become something other that I'm thoroughly enjoying as an object of its own. I see about this painting that I want to change. There's something about these horizon lines that I like a lot. Maybe speak of rose. I'm looking just in this space right here. I may want to touch that with something of the blue that I see. A little bit of weight to that. And I may come back to those trees just a little bit. Give that organic feel to it. I think that, for me, begins to complete my work of art this morning. Beautiful. So here we are with Black Dog Springs, the new painting. You can see the different brush strokes, the subject matter of the sky, the object of the black dog symbolized here, the field's wide expanse, the trees, the horizon, the perspective line. See the brush strokes and how they speak to you. They speak to me. And it's become something of its own. Beautiful. I love it. So thank you for joining me as we created this work of art, Black Dog Springs, in oil. Each one of us has an idea, each one of us has a memory that can be expressed to bring something new and beautiful into the world. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you again soon.
Every moment with Martin.